just another stitch. For those that don't know me, my name is Connie, and if you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. So today's video is the final video for my striped knitted beanie knit along. And I am curious how everyone is progressing with their beanies. Let me know that in the comments down below. And I do want to mention that I know it has taken me longer than I intended to get the final video out to y'all, and I do apologize for that. So the deadline to finish your beanie for the knit along is December 2nd. So once you finish your beanies, please send me a picture of your finished beanie. Email it to justanotherstitch2020@gmail.com. And my email address is in the description box of this video. And all of the videos for the knit along, I have a playlist for, which I will link that in the description box of today's video. So we're fixing to start doing the decreases on the beanie. And I'm going to be showing y'all two different methods. The first method I'm going to be showing is using the double pointed needles, and you need 5 double pointed needles. Then I will be showing y'all the magic loop method, where you'll need the circular needles with a longer cord. Okay, I'm having to make an edit on this video. My initial intentions was to film everything in one video, but I realized it's going to be a really long video if I do it that way. So I decided that I'm dividing it up. On this video, I'm going to show y'all how to do the decrease method on double pointed needles. I'm going to make a separate video showing you how to do the magic loop method. And either on that video, or I may have to do a third video, I will show y'all how to weave in the ends. So that's how this is going to work when it comes to these videos. So there are more videos that are going to come over the weekend to finish off the tutorial. Now, one thing I do want to point out, because I'm sure y'all are going to be noticing this, I have this white strand of yarn that runs through all my stitches. And this is called a lifeline. And the reason that I put this here is because once I finish showing the first method, I'm going to have to tear that out and get back to this point and then do the other method. So that's why this is here. So for the most part, ignore that this is here. And if you're curious about lifelines, I do have a video that shows how to use a lifeline, and I'm going to put that link in the description box of this video. But basically, lifelines can get you safely back to a certain point. This is very helpful for people that are new at knitting, or also when you do lace work in knitting. So it is a very helpful tool. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, make sure to cut your purple strand of yarn. Cut that skein off. And we're going to be adding our gray yarn. And from this point on, we're going to be working with the gray yarn. Okay, when you're doing decreases with double pointed needles, you typically switch over once it gets too tight. But for this tutorial, I'm going to start the decreases off on double pointed needles because it may get tighter for some of y'all sooner than what it gets tighter for me. So I want to make sure that y'all see how to do it from the get-go. But you can add them in at any time doing the decreases once it gets too tight. Okay, You want to grab one double pointed needle and insert it like you're doing the knit stitch. And now we're going to add the gray yarn. Wrap that around the needle. And finish off your knit stitch. And make sure you have everything nice and tight. Okay. And now we're going to do 7 more knit stitches. So you will have a total of 8 knit stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now we're going to knit 2 stitches together. And if you've never done a knit two together, it's basically the same thing as a knit stitch. The only difference is you're inserting your needle into the 2 stitches instead of 1. You see how I have the 2 stitches? Then you yarn over and pull through. And that's what you call a decrease stitch. Okay? So now we're going to knit 8 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to knit 2 together. Again, you want 2 loops that you're going through. Okay. So you should have 18 stitches on this first needle. Basically, we're evenly dividing the stitches. But sometimes when you're doing decreases, depending on your cast on, it may not always be evenly divided. But you always want to do the repeat amount. Like end at the end of the repeat. Okay. So now we're going to grab our second needle. Oh, before we do that, I forgot. You want to take your stitch marker. And this is what I do to make sure I know where the beginning of the round is. I pin it to my work on that first needle. Okay, so grab your second needle. And we're going to do 8 knit stitches. And make sure you pull tight because you don't want the ladder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now you want to knit 2 together. And like I said, It's basically a knit stitch, but you're going through 2 loops. See? Hold up a minute. Let me start that over. My lifeline got in the way. Okay. Now we're going to knit 8 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Now we're going to knit 2 together. And again, you're going through 2 loops. Okay. So we finished the second repeat on the second needle. So now we want to grab the third needle. And like I said, it is kind of awkward with the double pointed needles. But it's basically the same thing. As knitting on the circulars. All right. So we insert our needle like that, and we're doing 8 knit stitches. And make sure you have it nice and snug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now we're going to knit 2 together. And again, go through 2 loops. Okay, now we're going to knit 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, now we're going to knit 2 together. So make sure you go through 2 loops. See? That's 2 loops you got on the needle. Okay, now we're going to grab our 4th needle and we're going to knit 8 stitches. And make sure it's nice and snug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to knit 2 together. Go through both the loops. And continue like you're doing a knit stitch. All right, now we're going to knit 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we knit 2 together. So go through those final 2 loops and continue like you're doing a knit stitch, and remove your circular needle. Okay, we have finished the first round of the decreases, and I would recommend that you put all your excess yarn strands inside of the beanie to help get them out of the way. Okay, and you see, and this is how it should look. It looks like a square, but the concept really is the same as what you were doing on the circular needles. Okay, so now we're going to grab our 5th needle. And I do want to point out, you see, this is how you know you're starting the next round. The stitch marker is right here. So remember, the first stitch of the second row after you start a new color, you got to do our special technique. So you go in purlwise and slip that stitch, and make sure you give a good tug on that end piece from earlier. Okay, and basically this row is all knit stitches. Where is my strand? Yeah, give that piece a good tug. Okay, and just keep doing your knit stitches. We're almost finished with that first needle. Okay, we got that first needle done. Now we move on to the second needle. And like I said, we're just doing our knit stitches. And like I said, you want to kind of make sure everything's nice and snug whenever you go to the new needle, because you don't want ladders. You just keep on knitting. My table's squeaking. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the second needle. And I know the double pointed needles, they do look intimidating, but they're really not that difficult. Okay, we're at that last stitch. If you notice, I always kind of like to pull my stitches back on the needle, because I don't want to have any drop stitches. Okay, so now we're getting to the third needle stitches. Insert your needle and just keep doing your knit stitches. And we're almost at the end of this needle. Okay, so now we're going to start the final needle. You just continue doing your knit stitches and make sure you have it nice and snug. Because when you do the new needle, you don't want to get the ladders there. So just keep doing knit stitches. We're getting close to the end. Okay, 2 more stitches. Okay, we just finished the second round of the decreases. Okay, we are now starting the next round. And on this round, we're going to be knitting 7 stitches and then knit 2 together. And we're going to keep repeating that all the way around. So that's 1. And make sure it's nice and tight. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And now we're going to knit 2 together. Okay. Then knit 7. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And now it's time to knit 2 together again. So go through both loops and knit them together. Okay, we finished the first needle. Now we're moving on to the second needle. And we're just going to keep doing the same thing. Knit 7 stitches. And make sure it's nice and tight. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. Now we're going to knit 2 together. So go through both those loops and knit them together. Okay. And now we knit 7. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. And now we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. Go through both loops Okay, now we're moving on to the third needle. And we're going to knit 7. Make sure it's nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we knit 2 together, so go through both loops and continue like you would a knit stitch. Now we're knitting 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to knit those 2 stitches together. Okay, and we just finished the stitches on the third needle. Now we go to that last needle. And we continue with our knit 7, knit 2 together. So make sure it's nice and snug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we knit 2 together. So you go through both stitches and continue like you would a knit stitch. Now we knit 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we knit these last 2 stitches together. It's being stubborn. Okay, there it goes. Okay. And continue like you would a knit stitch. All right, and we just finished the next round. Okay, we're going to now be starting the next round. And this round is all knit stitches. Every single stitch is going to be a knit stitch. So you just start doing your knit stitches. And at this point, you really should be getting how it works with the double pointed needles. Because once you work all the stitches on this needle, then you move on to the next needle, work all knit stitches. When you get to the last stitch, you move on to the next needle, keep doing your knit stitches. And then when you finish with that needle, then you do knit stitches on the next needle. And we're going to meet back up right before the stitch marker. So after you work the stitches on all 4 needles, we're going to meet back up. Okay, we just finished the round. So now we're going to be starting the new round. And as you see, we're right there at the stitch marker. So on this round, we're going to be knitting 6 stitches, then knitting 2 together. Okay, So we insert our hook, not our hook, our needle. Okay. And make sure everything's nice and snug. Okay. This first stitch is being stubborn. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then knit 2 together. Okay. And now we're going to knit 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then we knit 2 together. Okay, we finished the first needle, and then we're going to move on to the second needle. We're going to knit 6 stitches, then knit 2 together, then knit another 6 stitches, knit 2 together. Then we move on to the third needle. You knit 6 stitches, knit 2 together, then you knit 6 stitches, knit 2 together, move on to that fourth needle, knit 6 stitches, knit 2 together, then knit 6 stitches again, knit 2 stitches together, and that will put you at the end of the round. So we will meet back up there. Okay, we have now finished the round, and as you can see, we are at the stitch marker again. So the next round is going to be all knit stitches. So we just do all knit stitches. And like I said, you're just going all the way around. You complete the knit stitches on the first needle, then the second needle, third needle, and the fourth needle. And we'll meet right back up when we get to that stitch marker. Okay, we have just finished the round, and now we're fixing to start the new round. And this is typically where I transfer to double pointed needles, but we're already using the double pointed needles, but I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so in this round, we're going to knit 5 and knit 2 together. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we knit our 2 together. Okay, and then you knit 5 again, knit 2 together, then you move on to the next needle, knit 5, knit 2 together, repeat again, knit 5, knit 2 together, move on to the third needle, knit 5, knit 2 together, then you knit 5, knit 2 together again, then go to the last needle, the fourth one, knit 5, knit 2 together, knit 5, knit 2 together. And we'll meet right back up when you get to that stitch marker. Okay, we have now finished the round, and as you can see, we are back at the stitch marker right here. So now we're going to do a round of knit stitches. Okay, so just do your knit stitches, and we're going to do this all the way around. All the stitches on the first needle, all the stitches on the second needle, all the stitches on the third needle, and all the stitches on the fourth needle. and we'll meet right back up right before the stitch marker. Okay, we have now finished that round. We are at the stitch marker here. And you might want to move the stitch marker up. That way it's more visible. Okay. So on this round, we're going to knit 4, knit 2 together. And every time you do that knit 2 together, it creates less stitches on your rounds. 2, 3, and 4. Knit 2 together. Oops. My hands are getting clumsy. All right. And then knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together, okay, and then you move on to the second needle, you knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, then you repeat, knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, move on to the third needle, knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, then you repeat it again, knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, then you go to the fourth needle, knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, and then another knit 4 stitches, knit 2 together, and that brings you to the end of the round. So we'll meet back up right before the stitch marker. Okay, we just finished that round and we're right before the stitch marker. So now we're going to do a round of knit stitches. So just start doing your knit stitches. And when you finish the first needle, you move on to the second needle, do your knit stitches, then move on to the third needle, do your knit stitches, and then move on to the fourth needle and do your knit stitches. And we'll meet right back up right before the stitch marker again. Okay, we are now at the stitch marker. So we finished the round. So now we're going to start the new round. And on this round, we're going to knit 3 and then knit 2 together. So 1, 2, 3, knit 2 together, then knit 3, 1, 2, and 3, and knit 2 together, okay, and then on the second needle you knit 3, knit 2 together, then repeat, knit 3, knit 2 together, move on to the third needle, knit 3, knit 2, knit 3, knit 2 together, then you repeat, knit 3, knit 2 together, then go to the fourth needle, knit 3, knit 2 together, and repeat again, knit 3, knit 2 together, and then you'll be at the stitch marker and we'll meet back up there. Okay, we just finished the round, so now we're going to start the next round. And on this round, we're going to do all knit stitches. So just start your knit stitches, do them on the first needle, then move on to the second needle, do all knit stitches, move on to the third needle, do all knit stitches, and then on the fourth needle, do all knit stitches, and we'll meet right back up right before the stitch marker. Okay, we just finished the round. So now we're going to start the next round. And on this round, we're going to knit 2, then knit 2 together. And y'all probably have noticed the pattern that we're doing. Okay, so knit 1 and then 2. Now we knit 2 together. All right. Now we knit 2 again. 1 and 2. Knit 2 together. Okay. Then you move on to the second needle. You knit 2 stitches. Then the next 2 stitches you knit together. Then you repeat that. Knit 2 stitches, and then knit the next 2 stitches together. Then you go on to the third needle. You knit 2 stitches. The next 2 stitches you knit together. Then you repeat. Knit 2 stitches. Then the following 2 stitches you knit 2 together. You move on to the fourth needle. You knit 2 stitches. Then you knit 2 stitches together, and then you repeat. Knit 2 stitches and knit the next 2 stitches together, and then we'll be at the stitch marker and we'll meet back up there. Okay, we're at the stitch marker, so we just finished that round. So now we're starting a new round, and this round is all knit stitches. So we're going to knit all the stitches on the first needle, then all the stitches on the second needle, then all the stitches on the third needle, and then all the stitches on the fourth needle, and then you'll be at the stitch marker and we'll meet back up there. Okay, we're now at the stitch marker again. So on this round, we're going to knit 1 and then knit 2 together. So knit 1, now knit 2 together. Knit 1, and then knit 2 together. Oops, I messed up there. Okay, knit 2 together here. Okay. Then you move on to the second needle. You knit 1, knit 2 together, then you repeat again, knit 1, knit 2 together. Move on to the third needle, knit 1, knit 2 together, then you repeat it, knit 1, knit 2 together, and then you move on to the last needle, the fourth one, knit 1, knit 2 together, then knit 1, knit 2 together, and then you'll be back at that stitch marker and we'll meet back up there. Okay, we're now back at the stitch marker and we're starting a new round, and this round is a round of all knit stitches. So you knit all the stitches on the first needle, then all the stitches on the second needle, then all the stitches on the third needle, and then all the stitches on the fourth needle, and then we'll be back at the stitch marker and we'll meet back up there. Okay, we are now at the stitch marker, so we're going to be starting the final round. And on this round, you're going to be knitting 2 stitches together all the way around. Okay, so we just knitted that one. Okay, and now we knit 2 stitches together again. Then you move on to the second needle. You knit 2 stitches together. Then you knit the next 2 stitches together. Then you move on to the third needle. you knit the first 2 stitches together, then you knit the last 2 stitches together, then you move on to the 4th needle, you knit the first 2 stitches together, and then the final 2 stitches you knit together also, and we'll meet back up once you get to the stitch marker. Okay, we are now finished with the final round, and all the needles should have 2 stitches on each one. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to leave a long enough tail on your yarn so you can go through all those stitches and then sew up the hole on the top of the beanie. So this is about how much I used. I probably don't need that much. Actually, I know I don't, but I prefer to have more than I need than not enough. Okay, you want to take your darning needle and thread it. Okay, and what you want to do is you go to your first needle and you go through the stitches like this. Then go to your second needle and go through those 2 stitches and pull out your knitting needle and pull your yarn through. All right, now we go to the 3rd knitting needle and we go through those 2 stitches pull out your knitting needle and pull your yarn through, and now you go through the 2 stitches on your final knitting needle, pull your knitting needle through and then pull through. Okay, you want to get it nice and tight. All right, so now we're going to close up the top of your beanie. So you basically just want to go through a couple of stitches like this with your darning needle, pull through, go the other direction like that, pull through, and then go through one more time like so. All right, and then feed your needle through on the other like that, and then pull it to the inside of the beanie. And now we're going to turn it inside out like that. And then you want to kind of weave it in some stitches so it don't come loose. Okay, and then you just cut your remaining thread I mean, your remaining yarn, sorry. All right. And now, all right. So the only thing left at this point to do on the beanie is weave in all the ends, which I will get to that after I demonstrate the magic loop method for the decreases. But yeah, your beanie is now almost finished if you decided to do the double pointed needle method. So I will be doing a video soon on the magic loop method, and then either in that video, I'm hoping to do it in that video, we will show how to weave in all these loose ends right here. So yeah, and don't forget, make sure to send your pictures in of your finished beanies by the end of day December 2nd, so I can include those in a video. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and hope everyone is having a fabulous yarny day, and bye!